So the next term is what? Is gamete. What is gamete? Gamete is a matured, a what? Matured sexual what? Sexual cell. Gamete is a what? Is a matured sexual what? Sexual cell which is produced during the process of what? Of gametogenesis in reproduction, and it's comprised of both what? Male gametes, gametes, and we also have what we call what? Female gametes, gametes. And mostly the male gamete, we call it what? Sperm. Sperm cell. The female gamete, we call it what? Egg. So the mature sexual gamete produced during the process of what? Of gametogenesis in what? In reproduction. Because of what? Gametogenesis. So the gamete is gametogenesis means what? Formation. This is what? Of gametogenesis in reproduction. It's gamete and it's comprised of what? Both male and female gamete. The male gamete is called sperm cell. The female is called what? Egg. And the gamete himself is always haploid. Haploid means what? N number of what? Of chromosome. That is gamete. It has what? Haploid number of what? Of chromosome, which is what? Which is N. So we can look at what? I said the male gamete is known as what? As sperm. Abi? If male gamete is this, which is what? Sperm. And the center here, we have nucleus. Yes, inside the nucleus, we have chromosome. And so this is a sperm. And here we have what? Egg. This is what? Egg. Here we have a male what? A male gamete. Here we have what? Female gamete, which is what? Egg. When the two gametes now combine together, then I said this one is what? Is N, haploid. This one is also what? Haploid. So when the two gametes now combine what? Together, like this, when the two gametes combine together like this, the sperm will what? Will enter. And so this is the sperm head. And here we have what? The nucleus of what? Of egg. And the tail of the sperm will cut out. So what I need here is what? The fusion of what? Of the two gametes. Both male and female gametes, when they come together like this, they will now give us what we call what? Zygote. Zygote. So, and the zygote here will be of, if you have N plus N, it will be two what? Two N. So the zygote will be what? Will be diploid. Because we apply all these things in the what? In the cross breeding. We talk about what? About gametes. Talk about what? About zygotes. So the gametes are what? Are the mature sexual cell from reproductive what? Organ, which is what? The male is not as a sperm, the female is not as what? As egg. But when the two combine together or they fertilize together through the process of what? Of syngamine, it will give us what? Zygote. Zygote. So our next term here is what? Is zygote. 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 So this is a what? A single cell form. This is a what? A single cell form as a result of what? Of fusion or combine of both male and female gametes. That is zygote. The fusion of what? Of both male and female gametes result to the what? To the zygote. A single cell form as a result of what? Of the fusion between the male and the female gamete. We call it what? Zygote. And the zygote is usually what? Diploid. Zygote is usually what? Diploid, which is what? Two hen. Gametes are what? Are haploid. N. So we can also say what? The number of chromosome here is what? 20 what? 23. Here is also 23. Added together give you what? This is 46. But later, I will explain that. So that is what? Zygote. Zygote. The next thing that we need now is what? Is homozygous gene. Homozygous what? Gene. So look at the name. Homozygous gene. These are the organisms that have two similar genes for a character. So any organism that have what? Two similar genes for what? For a character is called what? Homozygous gene. And this is the what? Is a look at if you look at the name here, we have homo. And we have what? Homozygous. Homozygous gene. The homo means what? Same. Abi, they are what? They are organisms that have what? Two similar genes for a what? For a character. So any organism that have what? Two similar genes for a character are called homozygous gene organism. They have what? Two similar genes for a what? For a character. That is, this homozygous gene can now be grouped into what? Into two parts. We have dominant homozygous gene. Do what? We have dominant homozygous what? Gene. And we also have what? Recessive homozygous gene. Please don't worry about dominant and recessive. I will explain it later. But the homozygous is a what? Is an organism that have what? The two similar gene for a character. And as I what is we will be homozygous or what? Homozygous dominant or homozygous what? Recessive. So example of this homozygous dominant and recessive is this. Here we have what? Dominant is capital letter what? T. For the recessive, small letter what? T. Then we use a small letter what? T. That is what? If they said what? Your gene is homozygous gene. We have two similar genes for a character. As I have now, I'm tall. So assume that what? My tallness, the gene that's responsible for my tallness is the what? Is homozygous. Simply means what? I'm having what? Capital letter what? T, capital letter T. It's a pure tall. That is homozygous. But if someone is short, and as short is what? Is pure, we call it what? Recessive what? Recessive homozygous. So if a what? Is two similar genes control a what? A character, we call it what? Homozygous. And for every homozygous, we may have it in what? Either AA or BB, like this, or RR, or we use two capital letters to calculate what? Homozygous. But homozygous dominant. If it is what? Homozygous, again, it may be small letter RR, WW, small a, small b. If you use small b, small a, all this, they are called what? Recessive homozygous. The homo means what? The two letters must be the same, either in capital letter or in what? In small letter. That's the meaning of what? Homozygous gene or organism. So the organism that have two what? Similar gene for a character are called homozygous organism. So the next one is what? We have heterozygous. Zygote gene. What is heterozygous gene? Heterozygous gene is the opposite of what? Of homozygous. Is what? Organisms that have what? Two different genes that is responsible for a what? A character. Heteros means what? Difference. Two what? Different gene that is responsible for a what? A character. You call it what? Hetero what? Heterozygote. Example for heterozygote we have capital letter T, small letter t. So you can see that they are not the same. Or you can have capital letter R, small letter r. Capital letter A, small letter a. Capital letter B, small letter b. You can see it now. So all these genes, they are what? Hetero what? Heterozygote. If what? Two dissimilar genes are responsible for a what? For a character, you call it what? Hetero what? Heterozygote gene organism. We will later understand the full details of heterozygotes and what? And homozygotes. But tell you that what? You use what? Capital letter, two capital letter, two the same letter, two capital letter of the same alphabet for homozygotes. One capital letter and a small letter of the same alphabet for what? Heterozygotes.